I'm thinking cut them off,
Yep.
like that, yeah?
Yep.
Undo front suspension, drop it out. Next, this big horrible piece of expensiveness.
Yes.
Yeah? Unbolt, drop it
Yep.
on the deck.
Yep.
Yeah? Rear axle, rear suspension, drop it all on the deck.
This is my creation. I call it the NASCharger. Believe it or not, this mean looking monster muscle car is actually two different cars joined up. And what you're seeing here, the NASCharger, driving across Midwestern America, is the result of a lot of hard work, blood, sweat, and even a tear or two.
You right? No. Just listen to what I'm telling you. Now I need to cut leg open.
How about I listen to what you say?
Yeah.
And I'll stop being a wally.
Let me get look.
It bit you because of me being a wally. I built this monstrous muscle car to compete in the Radical Rod Drive-Off Build-Off across America. A wonderful cruise organised from frozen Nebraska to sunny Las Vegas, where all the participating vehicles from around the globe would be displayed at the most important car show in the world, SEMA. In the last episode, which I hope you saw, if not, please go back and watch it, it's very important, Martin and I stripped out a lot of components of the electric Dodge Charger. It looked like there was only really a body left of this iconic beast. Everything else had been replaced with electrics. So, to get this car, its raw back, I needed to find a really fast engine married up to a great transmission and chassis. Oh, and I need it cheap because I'm hard up. Hard-Up Garage. The NASCAR was sourced in the UK, and its flimsy body really was just a windbreaker for the roll cage. So it was a pretty good match for my needs, whichever way you looked at it. But when this interview was shot, I hadn't even found a NASCAR yet.
So, plans on the table. We've got the 1970 Dodge Charger, very, very iconic Universal Studios car. That is our car, that is our base. It has been so manipulated and changed and modified over the years to the point where we can't really put it back to a car. What we're going to do now is you guys are going to follow me back to the workshop. We're going to throw the Dodge Charger on the ramp. We're going to get up in the air and we're going to see how manipulated and changed it is. If it's completely knackered, we need to look into a way of basically putting a new full chassis underneath this Dodge Charger to make it run and drive. What best case scenario? The floor is intact and we can rip the engine and gearbox out of that Dune truck, put it into the Dodge Charger, and we still have a 500-600 horsepower animal, you know. Either way, we're going Chevy powered. That's how they were in the movies. I know for all you MOPAR fans at home, it's not what you want to hear, but it's how they were in the movies. And if we're going to keep to the Universal Studios paperwork and the documentation, we need to follow suit with going with what it had.
Yes, that was a horse in the background of Sam's interview, and that horse was definitely a Mopar loving animal because putting a Chevy motor in the Charger obviously disagreed with him or her. There was a horse outside back then because Sam was renting a storage shed on a farm. So as he mentioned, we had to get the shell of the Charger up on his ramps for a proper inspection, back at Hard Up HQ. While the Charger is on the recovery truck, let me explain to you, this episode is sponsored by another of the key helpers on the NASCharger project, Motul Oils. They obviously have a website, but you can check them out here on YouTube where they have a great channel, but not before you've watched all Sam's videos, please. Oh, and please hit that subscribe button. It's free to subscribe and it really helps us out because we need to build up our audience. Okay, back to the story.
On that very drive back to my workshop, I took a call that gave me a lead to a fairly cheap 2006 Karl NASCAR. I'd seen this vehicle at American Speedfest and other shows like Horsham Americana. It was the answer to all my prayers. As I mentioned earlier, it was powerful, fast, and it also came complete with a chassis and running gear, and that flimsy body could easily be removed and possibly sold off to help with costs. A genius plan, even if I do say so myself. I purchased this NASCAR, and then I roped in a friend to help Martin and me with all the welding and chopping this new plan required. I brought in a welding expert, Adam Wort, and he's the guy who will help me develop and marry up the NASCAR to the Dodge Charger.
What do you reckon?
So basically, this whole front clam
Yep.
is welded to these triangle bits that go through the body.
Yep.
I'm thinking cut them off
Yep.
like that,
Yep.
yeah?
Yep.
Under the front suspension, drop it out.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
Next, this big horrible piece of expensiveness.
Yes.
Yeah? Unbolt, drop it
Yep.
on the deck.
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
Round the back. Rear axle, rear suspension, drop it all on the deck.
Right.
Yeah?
Okay.
That will give us basically enough space to get in here and go, cool, we've got this, we've got that.
Yep.
But realistically, isn't going to help us in the long run because we actually want to be getting a tape measure now and measuring how far these legs apart. Because if these legs mirror the image of the legs on that,
Yep.
then realistically, we need to cut just the outer inner side of here, don't we?
Okay.
But
You want to keep the legs on it then?
Huh?
Do you want to keep the legs on it? You're going to need the legs on the back of that.
Not really, no, because that's all got the chassis rails already
Yeah.
inbuilt. So really, actually, we probably want to get 3 inches off the body.
And plus the fact, if these weren't actually on the car, it's going to make it a little bit lighter, isn't it?
A little bit lighter.
A little bit lighter. I
understatement,
mean, you're
yeah.
going to need some of this at the back to stitch into the floor of that. Because I mean, look at the box section on that one.
Yeah.
You can join that in to some of this, depending on where
You
it is.
don't really want to, do you? You probably want to cut off there, leave that rear structure
you
in.
could do, but that's
Get-
obviously been made up though, isn't it?
Yeah. Get these out of the way, cut them from like that, and then give ourselves maybe 3 inches or so.
We do hope you love all of this technical talk. We want you guys to understand a few of the challenges we faced on this new plan. And what you may not realise is this appraisal is the one we did after I brought the NASCAR to its new home. You can see its bright green rear end on the back ramp from this footage taken on our camera on the recovery truck as we struggled to put the stripped down Charger on the front ramp.
Our rear,
Yeah. 41.
41. This is looking a lot narrower, look.
Not a lot.
37, so
Yeah.
we're not far out, like you say. I mean, realistically then, say if we cut 41 out of that, yeah?
Yeah.
So we're just
So it's
talking,
going to be there, look.
we're talking,
It's the other side of the chassis rail. That's what I was thinking.
yeah. So
along
we
there
just
sort of thing,
slice
isn't it?
out that all the way along.
Yeah.
Cool. Then what about halfway down? So these chassis rails here, we're going to have,
Yeah.
what's that, 58?
Yeah, 58-ish.
No, go out a bit.
You want to go out, to the inner sill?
Yeah.
That's the bottom lip of the inner sill.
Okay. Like we've got an inch either side.
Okay.
So basically we're going to have to cut an inch out of the inner seal.
Yeah, and then
Or-
bring that lip out.
Yeah, and bring the lip out.
And then weld the lip to the box section.
100%.
Yeah.
Or well, I had a bit of a plan yesterday. I don't know
Right.
if your thoughts are on this. So on this chassis, on this, right? Let's just say we've got the inner seal here. So there's the seal there of this Charger and that. I think we get some box section, 2 by 1 inch steel box section,
Right.
yeah? And we weld it to this inner seal on here all the way along.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yep.
So that's our inner point, which obviously will
Yep.
match our 58 inches wide.
Yep.
Both sides, yeah? Then what we do, we have a hole through there,
Right.
hole through there,
Yep.
and a hole through there.
Okay.
And what we're basically having is we'll weld some big, massive nuts into that box section that's
Okay,
inside
so
of
you
the
can bolt
frame.
on it.
So then basically it's a matter of lining up, bolt, 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 and if you want, you can take it off. Do you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you could do it that way.
That's my thoughts behind it, you know?
Yeah.
Remember, the Charger is significantly longer than the NASCAR. We want to keep that mean looking Charger body intact because it is so popular and iconic. So we won't be messing with that now, will we? The NASCAR is more compact at the front and the rear, but the key to making this plan work is matching up the wheelbase to the longer Charger. That means the NASCAR chassis will need to be cut in half and elongated about 6 to 7 inches. The prop shaft will also have to be elongated as well before the body can be dropped on and welded into place to make this plan a reality. Time to double check the width and focus on those much needed axles.
What's the measurements here?
From here, side to
What's
side.
the axles?
So outer wall,
Of the tyre. Of the edge
out
of the tyre.
73.
Right, what's it on the body of this?
The
Now, where
tyre,
do you want it? Should we do it? Well, I'll tell you, we'll do it to the edge of the tyre. both sides.
66.
And that's 73.
Yeah, so if you keep going your way.
Go on. I put it on the edge of the tyre.
Yeah,
the edge
we
of
got
the tread.
66 inches.
That's the edge of the tread.
Yeah.
So if I bring it out this way, about
3 inches.
About 3 inches.
Yeah. That is it. Bang on 73.
Yeah, and if you look up from that to the top
that
of the
is
wheel
going
arch,
to sit snugly.
that's going to look.
We're going to have
on.
to tub the wheel wells.
Yeah,
we're going to have to basically cut them out.
Well, you've got them in there, haven't you? That's what
it.
you want. Those wheel wells are going to be going into this car.
Perfect, isn't it?
So the rear axles and wheels should work out as a good fit underneath the Charger, although it looks like we won't be using this tyre by the looks of it. Let's see how the front compares.
Right, that's it. Edge of the tread.
72.
72 on that one.
Right. To the front, to the front.
Go on.
What did I say, 72? Keep going. What have you got there?
Well, I'm in line with the bottom of the arch there.
I've got 4 inches on top.
Right, yeah, and I've got about 3.5, 4-ish. So again, it's going to look right, isn't it?
It's going to be perfect, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically...
Now, the stance you want, are you going to have the top of the tyre level with the wheel arch, or are you going to have the top of the tyre under the arch a little bit?
Under the arch a bit.
A little bit. Yeah, well, look at these stays there, look.
Okay.
So we could adapt those.
Come look at this though. Look, the good thing is about this, right? I'm thinking I love these all hidden up in the wheel arches on the back. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
But the fronts, we can basically move in and out a little bit with, you've got so much adjustment here to play with.
Yep.
I mean, realistically, I don't see it being a better fit, do you? Like, it all kind of seems to work, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I had to pop back to the farm to meet up with the fella who brought the electrical components left over from the Eclipse and the Charger. So that allowed our brilliant cameraman, editor and producer Karl to film our new man Adam one-on-one to see what he really thought about my crazy scheme.
Adam, first impressions.
A lot of work. It's going to have to, the wheelbase is wrong, so you're going to have to cut the chassis and extend it. Rather than extend these axle locators, it'll probably have to be cut somewhere around here and then move back, braced up. This we could possibly cut to the exact measurement of the Charger. The front axle obviously is going to have to be in the right place to the front wheel arch of the Charger as well. So you're going to take a measurement point from that to the bulkhead of the Charger to try and get it so that the wheels are in the correct place. Then we're going to have to measure both cars very carefully and cut the bodies so that you literally lift the body off this, you cut the Charger, you drop the running gear out of the Charger, leaving the Charger on the ramp. But we're going to have to brace the Charger because obviously there's not a lot of support. And what with it being a pillarless coupe, etc. So we're going to probably take the doors off, make sure they're aligned first, brace the car, and then start cutting it. The front clip, the front wings and the front panel will probably be removed to give us access so we can get around the car to do the welding to the bulkhead. Steering, etc. It's all going to have to be altered to match the Charger. Otherwise, nothing's going to marry up. You're going to be sitting in the back of it, which is going to look ridiculous. So, in relation to the wheels, to the steering wheel, it's got to be in the right place to the Charger. Most of the Charger running gear, as you can see, is electric. Well, where we're going, we don't need electric. So that can all be moved on, sold, and help fund the rest of the car. I mean, a lot of work's been done on this, but we don't need it. All we want really is the outer skin of the car. So a lot of measuring, a lot of cutting, and a lot of welding, and a lot of time. Yeah, it's going to be a head scratcher for sure, but we can do it. We can cut this and make it fit, and then you'll have a 200-mile-an-hour Charger, essentially.
I mean, you don't know the full story yet, do you, till you get stuck in, but a rough estimation, first glance?
Weeks and weeks, I should think. A lot of work, a lot of long hours and a lot of welding.
400 hours?
Oh, Christ knows. Who knows? Until we start getting into it, there's going to be problems, I know there is. But also, see, the problem is the NASCAR has got a full cage in it. Obviously, this hasn't. So what we need to do is lift the body off this and drop on the top of the NASCAR. But thing is, if you put lots of braces in the car, as you're lifting the Charger on top of the NASCAR, the cage could be in the way. So you've got to measure the NASCAR to make sure that the braces on the Charger aren't in the way of the roll bar, otherwise you're not going to lift the body on. So it's all of that, you know, I mean, you could do it if it was braced up, you might be able to do it possibly with the roof, but it's not ideal, because if the car's had rust problems in the A-pillars, etc., you could end up pulling the bloody roof off it, and we obviously don't want that. So it's got to be braced up, and it's got to be braced up in a way that we can get something through the car onto the framework that we've put in it to lift the car clear, and that's also going to be clear on the NASCAR when we drop it down. Now, from there inwards is sort of where we want to be with the NASCAR. We want to leave the inner seals as they are, and it's sort of along this floor pan here, just about there would be an ideal place to join the two together. And this car is all solid underneath. There's no rot in it there, look. It's a good basis to do what we're going to be doing.
Adam, let me ask you, have you ever done anything like this?
Not as drastic as this, no. I've done quite a few things, but nothing like this. But I've been doing it for 30 years, so I'm pretty experienced in what I do. So I used to work for Wadham Stringers and USGs doing crash repair, and I've gone to various small garages as well over the years. And I even go to other people's garages like this doing their work for them.
Because they need you as you are the specialist.
Well, I wouldn't go so far as to say the specialist, but I do know what I'm up to. And it's a passion. It's what you do. You know, it's not really about the money. It's doing it for the love of cars, isn't it?
Please, if you like what we're doing, click on the subscribe button. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe, and it really helps us build an audience. Please share this episode on social media with your friends and family. While you are there, why not follow us at HARDUPGARAGE on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. And don't forget to visit HARDUPGARAGE.com, where you can get some background on what we do and buy some of our much loved merchandise. Here is a list of all the wonderful sponsors who help me and my guys make this crazy idea a reality. Thank you to each and every one of you lovely people. Hopefully you'll join us again as we work hard to get this project underway. Pun intended, and bye for now. But remember guys, don't eat yellow snow.